Hello gardening class, welcome to my compost bin. This is not the one that we use in our regular garden, this is in my backyard. Holds about 4 or 5 cubic feet, and I designed it literally just to take yard and kitchen waste and try to convert them into something usable. This is a cold bin. It's not large enough to get high temperatures on the inside. That's thanks to microbial action. So there will be weed seeds in here, and that's why I have to keep on the weeds in my 3 by 8 foot raised bed you'll see in just a moment. This is a Swiss chard. It's a volunteer. I think I threw away some Swiss chard seeds and this one has popped up. As you can see, these are lovely. Now they're covered with pollen right now. As you know, the trees are mating right now, so you have all of this yellow dust on them, but they will clean off very nicely. These are great leaves for cooking right now. They're too large really to fit in salads. One other thing before we go see our garden, over here I have an area of my yard where I put things like pine leaves, and unfortunately, since I have a dog, I put dog excrement there. People have asked me, can I use dog poop as fertilizer? The short answer is, if an animal eats another animal for its food, don't use the poop. If an animal eats vegetables, such as horses, cows, chickens, things like that, that poop will be acceptable for putting in a compost bin and cooking for about a year, roughly, and then it will become very good fertilizer. Now let's go take a look at the garden, and you will see Trooper over here in the back. He's just sniffing around. He's had a little case of vertigo lately, so he's been having trouble with the bid balance, but he's a good old boy, and he certainly protects the garden. Now this 3 by 8 foot raised bin here, we use for experiments. It's on the south side, as you can see by my shadow. We will do things like trying new crops in here first. We will try different spacing on crops that we've already been planting. For example, here we've got a poor little poor little broccoli who lasted all winter, and that's as big as he's got. So he's not going to do much, but it sure was a nice experiment to try to overwinter without protection. And as we can see, didn't work. Now here are some Swiss chard. These are smaller. This is Son of Leonidas. That is a year and 7 months old now and still producing leaves. As you can see, there are a lot of leaves that don't look very nice. We just want to start clearing those out at this time of the year. They're really not helping the plant at all, and what they do is they attract nature's garbage men, the slug. Slugs love this stuff, but we don't want them in our garden because once they get done with the bad leaves, they'll start going after the good ones. Here are 2 other Swiss chard. You can see that this is a variety of beet, the Swiss chard, and you can even see the beet-like stalk. Can't be eaten, but it almost makes it look like a beet palm once it's been over a year old, as you can see on this front one right here. Take away a couple of these bad leaves, and you can see that stalk that begins to develop. Now for the new stuff. In the last 5 days, we've been planting tomatoes and beans, and the jade bush beans have come up. You can see one getting ready to pop open its cotyledons there. We have garlic here, about 15 bulbs worth, and the great nemesis of our garden was solved by this netting. This netting is very sticky. It's almost like a trap. We put this over the garlic because a mother rabbit was trying to build its nest in the garlic patch. Killed a couple of the garlic, dug a big hole right here. I was able to replant. You can do that a lot with plants. If they're torn up, if the root structure is intact, I replanted it, and these 2 are doing just fine. Today though, we're going to be planting carrots and radishes. We're going to put down carrots, and then we're going to intersow radishes so that we can get a determiner of where the rows are and when they're going to pop up. And to use that, to quote John Wick, I'm going to use a pencil. The sharpened part of a pencil is only about a ½ inch thick, and that's about as deep as we want to go with carrot seeds or radish seeds. So I just put it down and draw a line a couple of times, and now I have, we call them in the United States a furrow. In England they call them a drill. So we make a couple of very thin drills, about 8 to 10 inches apart. That's fine. Now I have the right depth, not too deep, and now I can plant some carrots. I'll start with my Burpee short and sweets. These are designed to act like plows. They will dig straight through the harshest of soil, and these seeds are a few years old. So here's another experiment. Just put a little in your palm. They're very tiny, and if you've ever watched anybody cook, just sprinkle them like you're sprinkling salt into a stew. Just rub your fingers back and forth, and a few seeds will come out every inch or so. If you overseed, it's okay. Why? Because we can always thin them out. Seeds are cheap. So there is my short and sweet crop planted. I'm going to try to put these back in. A minor problem with plastic containers, hard to get the seeds back in sometime. Have to hold them open. On the other side will be the scarlet knot. The scarlet knot are the longer carrots that you'll see in stores, 6.5, 7 inches long. Seed size is about the same as the short and sweet, so you can't tell them apart. But once again, we'll just work back and forth like we're putting salt into a stew. And if we have too many, we'll just thin them out. Oh, that didn't take long now, did it? Not bad, eh? Now, after we've gotten the extra knots back into the pack, we'll put just a few radishes in that same line. The very same line? Yes, remember, radishes are fast. They don't care about anybody else. These will be up, matured, and out of here before they start interfering with any production from our carrots. These are much bigger seeds. You can see they look like little McNuggets. And we'll just put one every few inches just to help mark the row. These will be up and mature about the time the carrot seeds decide to start doing anything of importance. So I've just put one every 3 inches or so. Same thing here. Hey Trooper, I can hear my dog coming. He'll probably want to make a guest star appearance. Hey buddy. You know it's an amateur at-home movie when your dog is the star. Isn't that right, bud? Okay, so the radishes are all in. And now we just have to close up the furrow. Easiest way, just pinch. And now pat down. I haven't put much water on these, as you noticed. There's an old saying about carrots, sow in dust, grow they must. If there's water, moisture soil further down, the taproot will drive to find it. We want the taproot to go down. We don't want to have a lot of green to come up until much later. I'll water these down a little bit later today, but as you saw, a few minutes, we now have about 30 or so carrots in each row and about a dozen radishes in each row. Nice little salad. Thanks, everybody.